Our next speaker is a member of National Honor Society and Project Green. He's a member of the Kimberly High School Band and has earned district and state recognition for his alto saxophone performances and a member of the woodwind choir. He plans to attend UW Eau Claire to major in psychology. Please welcome Mr. Elijah Creel.
Just give me like 2 seconds. Nice. All right. Coming into this speech, I had one overarching theme to all of my ideas. How can I top Will Wagner's speech from last year? I quickly realized that wasn't a possibility because I don't have my dad and my best friend soloing over my speech behind me. I tried, but Will's dad was already booked for tonight. In all actuality, I only intend to copy one thing from Will's speech, and that is that I hope my words stick with you. Upon writing this speech, I found that if I was to take away one thing from my time here, it would be that I faced failure after failure, and had I written those off as time wasted, rather than learning from them, I wouldn't be who I am today. Now, I hope to instill this idea in you as you head off to more schooling, the workforce, the military, or Bolivia with Mr. Schur. I'd like to start with some of the things that happened to you if you attended Kimberly High School. For one, you were spoiled by Wednesday extended learning times, and you completely underestimated how much an extra 40 minutes of sleep actually meant. You loved Mr. Haling and everything he did, even if you didn't have him as a teacher, because the Kimberly groupthink got to you. You also somehow got your reaction to a power outage mixed up, because when all the lights went off, you cheered instead of being concerned. However, as with every time period in our lives, it wasn't completely smooth sailing. There are a few other things you experienced if you attended Kimberly High School. For one, you got sick after homecoming week because you swam in a sea of sweaty people with ties on their heads for 4 hours. Or you called your mom in tears after a math test because you were positive you failed it. Okay, that might have only been me. Regardless, you didn't really experience high school unless you spent way too many nights staying up way later than you should have and subsequently had to take a nap on your lunch break the next day just to continue functioning. During this time, you also got your license and probably your first car, and then crashed your first car in the parking lot in front of everybody. That one could also only be me. Now, while everyone will look back at their time in high school differently, there is one thing that we all share. We all share the longest active winning streak in the nation and 5 consecutive state titles under our belt. Now, real quick before I continue, did you really think you were going to hear 3 Kimberly graduation speeches and nobody was going to mention the 5 Pete? Now, about 3.6 million students around this time are graduating along with us, but no one else can say that they did that with their 4 years. This streak and these state titles mean far more than great athletic success. Instead, they reflect far more about this school and this class specifically. At the beginning of this year, this class had the option to cower away from the really big shoes that were left for us, which is what everyone expected us to do. Instead, this class stepped up and set their own expectations. Now, I've only known most of you for the 4 years I've been in this district, but if I've picked up one thing, it's that this class sets their own expectations and holds themselves accountable to that. So whether it was in the field, in the classroom, or on a stage, this class stepped up and set their own legacy. I stated before that high school wasn't rainbows and unicorns the whole time, and there were several days, weeks even, that put more weight on you than you thought you could ever handle. As I said before, you can look back at these failures as wasted time and fixate on that, or you can focus on the good that came out of these. Every trial that you've faced and since overcome, because you are sitting here today, has formed you into who you are. When that's considered, it's hard to see this time as wasted. In a fantastic book called Mindset, written by Carol Dweck, a world-renowned Stanford University psychologist, she describes people as having a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset shy away from challenges because to them, failure is the end of the road. Now, while the people with the growth mindset welcome challenges and they welcome failure because they know it only propels them into the success that they want. So I encourage you, look back over the challenges that you've faced during your time here and see how they've molded you into the Kimberly graduate that you have become today. Finally, I'd like to conclude with a quick story about one of the people who has played a pivotal role in creating who I am today. As a kid, my parents have always made it clear to me that your time given to you on earth is a gift by someone much bigger than you, and you should cherish it. Now, my mom put that into perspective with a pretty simple breakdown. She said there are one of two kinds of people on earth: people that let the world happen to them and people that happen to the world. Now, those of you who have seen me since February 19th know that I dried up my bank account to tattoo this on my arm. I don't expect you to do this, and quite frankly, I don't want you to do this, but don't take a back seat to your own life. When you walk out these doors, take your experiences from KHS, the lessons from your failures, your accomplishments, your achievements, and happen to the world. Thank you.
Thanks, Eli. Our final speaker select